Jai Gurudev. Happy Ekadashi. So it's a very nice time to give a lecture on Ekadashi. Because we know Ekadashi, I don't know if you heard that, Ekadashi Vrata, to mean to take a vow. No? So on Ekadashi, for one day, we take a vow either to eat only some stuff or to not eat anything or not drink anything or whatever. But there is a different name for Ekadashi. And we say Ekadashi Upavas. And Upavas means to stay, to sit, or to stay close. So on Ekadashi, the real meaning is to stay close to Bhagavan. So on this day, we should stay, the mind should stay very close to him. And that's why giving a lecture on this day is very, very good. Because then we can always absorb this. And it's very auspicious. Everything is very auspicious on Ekadashi. So yeah. So today we continue the series on the Sikh Guru. How many of you heard the first lecture? Some of you? Yeah, quite some. You will see there is a lot of link between the two. So today we have Guru Amar Dās. You can see the picture with a pot. I don't know if you can see properly, but no, not yet. Okay. But this is okay, no? Yeah, okay, cool. So, he was born 1479. But he became Guru only at the age of 73. So imagine, he wasn't young at all. He became Guru at the latest stage of his life. And he became Guru after Shree Guru Angad. Guru Angad was the Guru Vanamali and Atita presented last time. So his life was very simple. He was a merchant. He was trading things, selling. He had a shop. And so he was living a very simple life. He was married to Mata Mansa Devi, his wife. And they had 4 children. And his life was very nice up to when he was 50 years old. Because we know when we grow up and we reach that age of 50, we say that there is something that moves in the mind. We start to think a bit differently. Like what have we done with our life? What do I need to do with the time left for me? And the same happened to him. He looked at his life and he started to think, okay, there should be something way more deep. There should be something that I didn't find yet. There is something that I really need to discover about life. And so the way he did that, because he was Vaishnava, Hindu Vaishnava, like we are. And so he started to think like that. And we see in the Guru Granth Sahib, one of the verse talk about that. And Guruji already quoted that verse. He say, wife, friends, children, carriage, property, total wealth, the entire world, know that all these things are false. The Lord's meditation alone is true. So that was the kind of thing going in his mind. He started to think that all this, I have my family, I have my kids, I have my wife, but still, all this is false. Because they will go, and I will go, my body is becoming old. So there should be something way more deep than that. And so he started to think in those terms. And then what he did, from 50 to, you will see, for 10 years, he went twice a year in pilgrimage to Haridwar. Haridwar is a very, very important place of pilgrimage in India. And so what he did, twice a year, he was going there. And to go there is it's a very long travel. It's not easy from the place he was in. So he was leaving his family for 1 month to go and come back twice a year. And what he liked to do in this place, he was feeding the sadhus. He was feeding all the devotees. And so by this process, let's say, by the time he spent on this pilgrimage, he became very, very pure. He already had it inside for sure. To become the guru like that, he was born with this. But when he went on this pilgrimage, he started to preach, he started to talk with the sadhus and the saints, then he realized, then he became pure, then he started to shine something very, very different. And so after 10 years, it was the 20th time he went there. So everybody knew him, of course, because he was going all the time at the same place. And one Pandit called Pandit Durga saw him. And he saw that this person is not a normal person. I saw him coming every year like that, but he has something different. And he saw some light around him. He saw something like we can see in Guruji when we meet him. There is different shine. There's a different light in this person. He's not like me. He has something which I don't have at all. And this Pandit, he saw that. And so he started to speak with Guru Amar Dās, who was called Baba Amar Dās at that time. Referred to as Baba Amar Dās. So the Pandit started to speak with him. But Baba Amar Dās, he didn't take it very seriously. He said it's a Pandit, he wants money from me or something. He want to take money from me, so he say nice things to me. But then he didn't take it seriously. But what happened is that at the same place where the Pandit was living, there was also a brahmachari. Brahmachari, which means a monk, like all the yellow people here. He was called Haridas. And this brahmachari also, he recognized something very deep inside Guru Amar Dās. He saw this person the same as Pandit Durga. He said, this person can't be a normal person. He has something so different, right? And so the brahmachari, he said, can I come with you when you go back to your place? Now you are traveling back to your family, can I come with you? And Baba Amar Dās, he said, yeah, of course. For him, it was an opportunity to serve the saints. So he was very happy. He said, yeah, come with me. And so they traveled together, and they were very close, very, very close. They were eating from almost the same plate, always eating together, spending time together, like sadhus. But one day, this brahmachari, he had a very deep question inside of him. He wanted to know who is the guru of this person. He said this Baba Amar Dās is shining so much. Who is the person who gave him mantra? Who is the person who gave him diksha, the initiation? Who is that person? Because if he is so great, the person who initiate him should be even bigger. We saw the same with Guruji. Sometimes people see the swamis or the devotees coming, and they say, okay, if the devotees shine so much, then the guru should be amazing. And I know not many, but some of my friends, they became devotee just like that. By seeing the swamis, and they say, okay, they shine so much that the person who give them that Shakti should be amazing. And so they became devotee like that. So in the same way, Brahmachari Haridas, he said, who is your guru? And then Baba Amar Dās, he said, I don't have any guru. I don't have. I'm now 61 years old, but I don't have a guru. I'm looking for a guru, but I didn't find any. And at that, the brahmachari became extremely angry. extremely angry. Because he say, I have spent so much time with somebody who doesn't have a guru. I eat from the same plate of somebody who doesn't have a guru. And he say, I did so much tapasya all those years, and all is wasted because I had the association of somebody who doesn't have a guru. That's how important the guru is. And this brahmachari, he knew. And he say, you don't have a guru? I can't even. He was so upset, he just went away and finished. And so we see, Baba Amar Dās, he may have become very upset, but no. He may have said, look, I went 20 times to Haridwar. I'm such a great personality. I don't need a guru. But no, when Baba Amar Dās, when he heard what the brahmachari was saying, it completely messed up his mind, completely like he break down. And then for 3 days, he was in complete grief. He was completely lost. So he was feeling empty. He was feeling that, he was realizing how life without the guru don't make any sense. And this went so deep inside of him. We see also in the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said that when the saint talk, when the sages talk, the devotee speak, it goes into the ear and purifies the heart. The same way, this brahmachari spoke with such a anger, it went straight inside of him, and it really went deep inside Baba Amar Dās. And so for 3 days he spent in complete grief. He was lost. He was with his family, but he wasn't even eating, nothing. He was just completely gone. And one night, we should think of him, like imagine the situation. He is 61 and he's like, he don't eat, he's completely lost. His family don't understand what's happening. And the third night, he could not sleep, of course. And he heard, just to see if I have the verse. He heard one Mataji singing some Shabad, singing some praise. And this Mataji was called Bibi Amro. And she was the daughter of Guru Angad. So last time Vanamari and Atitagamana, they presented Guru Angad. And the daughter of Guru Angad, she was singing at night in Brahma Muhurta. It's called Amrit Vera. She was singing like that at night, preparing for the morning. And so Baba Amar Dās at that time, he heard what she was saying, what she was singing like that. And what she was singing was like that. It's from the Guru Granth Sahib. It was composed by Guru Nanak himself. He say, what was turned to slag is again transformed into gold if one meets with the Guru. He blesses the mortal with ambrosial name of the one Lord, and then, O Nanak, the body is held steady. Only 2 verses, there is much more. It's a full Shabad, but especially the first part. What was gone is again transformed into gold if one meet with the Guru. And when he heard that, he went straight to her, and he said, please tell me who wrote these things. Because he felt so much peace. Again, he started to feel like alive, like, okay, there is something in those teachings. I need to know the person who wrote that. And so he went to Bibi Amro, and he asked her, he said, who composed that? And she said, this is from Guru Nanak. And so Guru Amar Dās, he said, please bring me to him straight away. But she said, no, he is not in this body anymore. Guru Nanak, he already left his body. He took samadhi years before. But she say, my father is the light of Guru Nanak now. My father is the responsible. He is the main guru of the Sikh. And so Baba Amar Dās say, yeah, bring me to him straight away. I want to know that person. I want to surrender to him. And this happened at the age of 61. So think of that. This already shows something very deep to us, is that it doesn't matter if we come on the path when we are very young, or if we come like him when we are 60, 70, even 80. It doesn't matter so much. If the heart is pure, and if the motivation, if the willingness to surrender is there, everything can come into 1 second. And you will see in his life how it comes. So what he did, he went to Guru Angad's house and straight away surrendered to him. And to make it short, every day at that point, what he did, he was waking up. Again, think, 61, he wasn't young. So every day he was waking up at like 3, 4 in the morning, Brahma Muhurta, and he was taking a huge pot of water, filling the pot, and then bringing the water for his guru to bath in the morning. So very difficult seva. Once this is done, he was taking the clothes, cleaning, washing all the clothes from his guru, and then he was going to the jungle to fetch the wood to cook the food for all the sick. And then after, when they eat, they all lie down to rest a bit. And he was massaging all the devotees like that. And he did that for 12 years non-stop, every day. And he was, so from 61 to 72. No, 73. Yeah, he went like that every day. So again, there is no age. It's not about that. If the motivation to serve is there, if the willingness to serve is there, everything happens. And so we have to know also that during those 12 years, it wasn't like, how to say, Guru Angad was like, oh my dear, you are so sweet, so nice that you are here. You do such a nice service. You are doing such an amazing seva. No, he didn't talk to him for 12 years. They maybe talked once, twice. He was completely ignored. And the devotee, even the devotee, they were like, we don't know who he is, he just come and do service here. Because he was living in a place nearby. And he was coming every day for the seva. And so everybody was not so, nobody was praising him. Nobody was doing nice things to him. He was just there serving everybody. And so one day he was bringing the water and he fell down on a stone. And then he took back the water and he rushed to Guru Angad. And he thought that Guru Angad will be upset because he was late, because he fell down. And actually Guru Angad, when he saw Baba Amar Dās coming, he said, now it's finished for you. All that you have done has come to the completion of it. Because there is nothing of you staying. He said when you fell on that stone, it removed the last trace of ahamkara inside of you. He said that you are not anymore you. You have completely become one with me. So by his service, he became one with his guru. He was shining the light of his guru. Fully pure. No trace of ahamkara, no trace of ego anymore. Finish. And then Guru Angad, he saw that he was going to leave the body very soon. And so he made Baba Amar Dās, he made him the guru of the Sikh. At 73 years old. He said, now you are the guru. Because there is nothing of you staying. You are completely pure. And so like that, he became the guru. And they went to live Govindawala Sahib. So it was a place at that time. You see, when you look at the Sikh, what do you say, Gurudwara, the place where they stay, there is one main temple. It's called the Golden Temple. But this, at that time, it wasn't there. At that time, this main place of pilgrimage for the Sikh wasn't yet built. So at that time, the headquarters, if you want to say, was this place, Govindavala Sahib. And so Guru Amar Dās, he has his, he was staying there as the Guru. And he was responsible at that place. But what happened, and this come in the life of many of the Sikh Guru, and we saw already with Guru Arjan the same similar story. Guru Angad, he had 2 sons. And one of them, when he saw that his father gave the title of Guru to somebody else than him, he was extremely angry, extremely jealous, very upset. And because he say, I am the responsible, I am the son of the Guru, I should become the Guru. Why this person become the Guru? It's impossible. He's an old person, we just came during the day to do seva, why him? And we see how it plays in the mind. And this, again, it comes many times in the history of the Sikh, because they don't always choose their own son to become the Guru. And so what Datu, who was the son of Guru Angad, what he did? He went to Govindavala Sahib, and he saw Guru Amar Dās sitting on the throne of Guru Nanak, as the main Sikh Guru. And he went and he kicked him. He kicked him, made him fall on the floor, like that. He was so angry. And then he proclaimed himself as the Guru. He said, no, I am the Guru. We see the craziness of the mind and how far it can go. That's true. It's like history of how it happened, these things. And so, Guru Amar Dās, what he did was interesting. Because he fell down, but he wasn't upset at all. He said, this is the son of my Guru, I have to respect. And he said, please forgive me, because I am old, and so my bones are very hard. So forgive me if you hurt your feet when you kicked me. And we see the same story with Vishnu, actually, and Brigu. No? When Brigu came and kicked him on the chest, Vishnu started to massage the foot of Brigu Rishi. Because he said, forgive me because my chest is so hard that you should have hurt your feet. And we see how the devotee, they reflect the Lord. They even act in the same way, like Vishnu do, and Guru Amar Dās is doing the same. And so he was in looking at the situation, he saw how Datu, the son of Guru Angad, wanted to be the Guru, proclaimed himself the Guru. He said, okay, I just go away. And he went back to Basarke, who was the place he was born, or close to where he was born. And he locked himself into a small house. And he did something very clever. He wrote on the door. He said, whoever opens this door is not one of my Sikh, and I am not his Guru. So he made that, so he knew, because he knew that finally they will find him somewhere. They will look for him and find him. So he said, if somebody enters there, he's not my devotee anymore. So imagine the situation. So it was very good. Very good trick. And so the Sikh, they didn't knew where he was. And so they went and they asked Baba Buddhaji. So Baba Buddhaji, for the story, he was already a disciple of Nanak. So he is such an amazing personality. He was a disciple of the first Guru, Nanak, and he saw almost 5 of them. And he was initiating himself. So when they became the Guru, normally Baba Buddhaji was the person who applied the tilak when they became Guru. So he was very important, one of the main personality of that time around the Sikh. And he was very wise. And so the Sikh, he was like the father for all of them. So they went to him and they said, please, you know the past, the present, the future, you know everything. Tell us where Guru Amar Dās is hiding. And so Baba Buddhaji, he told them, go to Basarke, in this place. He's staying in a house, he's meditating alone in Samadhi, in his own state. But then they went there with Baba Buddhaji, also they went with him. But then they saw the sign on the door that whoever enters this place is not my Sikh, is not my devotee anymore. And so they asked Baba Buddhaji. They asked, Baba, what do we do? Like, what's the way? What's the way? Because you are the most wise. And so what Baba Buddhaji, he read what was written, and he said, okay. He went behind the house, he started to check the wall. And some of the stone were a bit like messy, were a bit like shaky. He started to remove them one by one like that. And so he entered the house by behind. And so it was fine. He was still sick. And he just went. And imagine such a mystic scene. This dark house, and the Guru is there meditating alone since days and weeks in Samadhi. And so he just went to sit next to him. And also he was a disciple of Nanak himself. And so he went to sit, and these two divine personalities are there sitting. And they look at each other. And he told them, no, it's time for you to go back, because all your devotees are there, you should go. They are waiting for you, they don't have anybody. And so Guru Amar Dās, he was like, okay, then, yeah, I have to go there. And so he went again to Govindavala Sahib. And at that time, nobody was there. Because what happened to Datu, to the son of Guru Angad, is that he proclaimed, he said, I am the Guru. But nobody cared. because he wasn't the one that Guru Angad chose. And so the Sikh, they knew that. And so nobody followed him. He didn't have anybody to follow. And so he realized that, and he just went away after a few days. And so at that time, imagine like nobody was there to take care. Nobody knew. Like Guru Amar Dās was hiding in the house, and Datu was gone. So nobody was there to take care of everybody. And so Guru Amar Dās, he came again. And so from that time onwards, he started to organize a lot. How to preach, how to send the message of the Sikh all around the place, how to send the different devotees in different places to make this message spread. And so, for example, by Guru Dās, like Baba Buddhaji, these two, they were very, very, very close to the Guru, and maybe they always come in the story of the Sikh. So by Guru Dās, he was a great pandit. He was the most well-versed and philosophical person at that time. And so he sent him to preach also. And then he defined also what is the life of a devotee, of a Sikh. Of somebody who follows the Guru. And he say the life is to wake up Amrit Veda, which means to wake up at 4 in the morning, 3 or 4 in the morning, to bath, to pray. Someone like Guruji is saying also we should do, which is a very good practice. Then he say, during your day, meditate on God at all time. Because that's the thing that's for the Sikh, there is no monk. You don't have the concept of like, I will become sannyasi. It's not like that. It's only family life. They are all grihastha. They all have a family. There is no concept of monk. Because they say it's not the way for them. So he say, do your life, do your job, and always meditate on God. And so similar to Guruji as well. And in the evening, spend time reciting the scriptures, reading from the Gurus, like that. So very simple life, but very, very deep. Very, very deep. And so, one day, at that time, the emperor of India was Akbar. He was a Muslim emperor. And he wasn't so aggressive against the Hindu. He wasn't like that. No, Akbar. How many of you heard about his name? You heard many times, huh? Akbar. You know, if you look at the play for Mirabai, the story of Mirabai, Akbar also is the one who came. He is that king who came to see Mirabai singing. So he had this very open mind. Because he was practicing Islam, but in his own way, let's say. It wasn't like a very, very, very orthodox person, let's say. And so he wanted to visit Guru Amar Dās. He said, I had to take some advice from him. So that's how he was thinking. But at that time, Guru Amar Dās, he already introduced the practice of the langar. So langar means the food. Like when they all come together and they eat. Serve everybody, to serve all the devotees. And you can see that, even picture of Guruji, when he went to the Sikh Gurudwara, every time he went in any of these places, they always receive him so nicely. That's one of the places actually they respect the most the guest. It's really nice to see. And Guruji really, really enjoy also. And so because this practice of langar is there to serve the devotee. But Guru Amar Dās, he added something. He said, if you want to meet the Guru, you have to go and sit with everybody and take your food on the floor like everybody. Just eat, no caste, no notion like that. You can be the king, you can be the servant, nobody care. You go, you sit with everybody, and then once you are one with the sadhus, the devotee, then you come to meet the Guru. And so Akbar, the king, he came. And they told him, well, if you want to meet Guru Amar Dās, you come and eat with all of us. And he did. He did. He was very happy. I mean, I don't know if he was happy, but he went there and he sat down, he started to eat with all of them. And he liked the practice. He was very inspired by the way they were doing that. And so then he met Guru Amar Dās, and they started to discuss like different things on maybe the politics of India at that time. And Guru Amar Dās, he convinced him to remove all the taxes that the Muslims were putting on the Hindu pilgrim. Because at that time, if you went to Yamuna or, I don't know, Ganga, you had to pay something. Because, the king was a Muslim. So in that sense, he convinced him to abolish all that. And then Guru Amar Dās is also very famous because he did a lot for the women of India at that time. It was a tough time. Like the 15th century, it was a tough time for women in India also, because a lot of practice were very restrictive, let's say. For example, the sati was very much going on. How many of you know what sati is? It's when the wife, some of you, it's when the husband dies, the wife also go into the fire with the husband. So it's a very old practice which has meaning in the ancient time. If you look at the Mahabharata, it's very, very, very common, but it had a specific meaning because the wife were going with the husband to enter heaven. You know, it was a very specific thing. They wanted to go to attain heaven with the husband and come back with him and all this. But at that time, it wasn't anymore like they chose. They had to somehow because of social pressure. Otherwise, they could not marry anymore. They could not. And it was very, like for a woman at that time, if the husband died, was a very, very, very tough time. Because for the widow in India, it was difficult. Because like social things like corruption, that's how the mind is. And so, he went very, very strong on all those things. And he completely abolished many of those things, at least for the places he was. And so, for example, sati was completely forbidden. And also when the women, they had to wear some, how to say, something on their face to cover their face to meet people. If they are married, they have to cover their face. He said, no, if they come to me, they don't have the right even they should come as a sister, as a mother. They should never come as somebody like that, cover or anything. So he was very, very open-minded. And he also went very strong against the caste system. Because at that time also, the Sikh, they were forbidden to go and bath in different places. Because they say, oh, you are not following the Hindu Dharma or whatever, Like, it was so, the mind of the people was so corrupt. All these things, very, very, the corruption was very strong. And so he went against all that. And so he created himself bathing place, still open today. Very, very important places for everybody to come and to bath. And if you go to that place, it was forbidden even to ask the caste or your family or whatever. All these practices were not there. And in many ways, that's how Vaishnavism should be. And I don't say that because I just think about this, but because we see that in the early gurus. Also, we have Ramanuja here, and the gurus that came after him. For example, one of them was called Pillai Lokacharya. Maybe some of you heard, but it's not very famous in the West. Pillai Lokacharya, he was considered an avatar in the Sri Vaishnava tradition. And so he wrote many, many, many things that you can find online very easily. But one of them is called Sri Vachana Bhushana. And he wrote about Vaishnava life, basically. And that was one of the most orthodox Vaishnava, one of the most learned Vaishnava at that time, after Ramanuja, one of the most respected Vaishnava of all time. And he said, for one to become a Vaishnava, to ask for the caste is the greatest of offenses. I will not tell you what he said because it's very strong, and you can find for yourself if you want. But he said, if you ask for the caste of a Vaishnava, it's a great, great, great offense. And he even say that when you're a Vaishnava, you should remove all the ahamkar, all the ego, right? And he said the most subtle type of ego is to think I am Brahmana. So it's actually very good to be born as a Shudra or as a servant, because at least this ahamkar is not there. You don't think that you are higher than anybody. So he say for a Vaishnava to be born in the lowest caste is very great. Because then you can really serve Vishnu without thinking of yourself as, Yeah, that's why, because the Vaishnava, we don't belong to, when we take shelter to the Guru and we take shelter of Bhagavan, we become part of his family, the Harivansh. So we are part of his family. And so for Vaishnava, there is no caste, there is nothing like that, really. There should not be all these things. Because once you take surrender to him, everybody is the same, right? There is no... All this caste and all this, they make sense for the social things. Outside of that. But somebody who becomes Vaishnava, all that is not important at all. But this is a very deep topic and can't go into that now. But to say that he made a lot of social reform at his time. And he was a great, great, great activist in that sense. Really to go against all the dogmas of that time. And so I will not go more into his life, because I think it's not the most important now for us in the small time we have. I will tell you then after how he left his body. But one thing we should, I guess, take from his life, the most important things, is what here I call the path of Seva. And I tell you that because we saw he was serving for 12 years, his Guru. And what was he doing? He was bringing the water, very intense Seva for his Guru. Serving all the devotees, really 24 hours, fully going on like that. And we saw How many of you heard the lecture on Guru Arjan? Some of you? You know how he died. So we saw that all those gurus, they had been tested very intensely. The tests were very intense. But I was also saying in this lecture on Guru Arjan that Guruji say we should not see the test as something negative. Because Guruji say, if we say, the Guru is testing me and all this, actually it's very hurting for him. Because the challenges he gives are only there for us to grow and to purify ourselves, to see where we stand in life. So if we say, he's testing me, it's very hurting for him. And we don't want that. And we saw Guru Arjan, he was the best example for that. Because Guru Arjan, he was burned into a hot plate, tortured to death. But still, he was always saying that all that I see is only sweetness. I see only the sweet actions of Bhagavan. So that's how the saints, they see. How the gurus, they saw that. In all the challenges, we can say, they only saw the sweet hand of Bhagavan, helping them and helping them to rise. And Guru Amar Dās, same. For 12 years, we saw he had no recognition from the outside. Nobody treated him very nicely. He was just there. Guru Angad was watching him always because he was so dear to him. But he didn't tell him. He let him do what he was doing without telling him like, you are so sweet and all this. And so for 12 years, he went into this very, very intense, physically, mentally, at every level, very intense seva before becoming the Guru. And we can see, now we will just look in the Guru Granth Sahib, which is a scripture of the Sikh, what Guru Amar Dās wrote himself about seva and what we can understand about seva and the path, let's say, the path of Bhakti, the Bhakti path according to those gurus. And how it's, I would say, one of the closest one to Guruji's approach. Because one thing we need to clearly have in mind is that the Guru Granth Sahib is the text for the Sikh. They compile it, the Guru's writings are there, but not only. Namdev writings are there, Surdas writings are there, Kabir writings are there. You see, Guru Nanak is here. So you see, many, Ramananda also, I don't know if he's here. I don't think so. So many of the Hindu saints, they are also in the Guru Granth Sahib. And especially those actually Guruji like very much. If you want the saints that Guruji praised the most, a huge part of them, they are in the Guru Granth Sahib. And actually it's a compilation of their writings as well. So you will see how we can relate to it. It's very, very close to us in many ways. So Guru Amar Dās, he says something. He says, the lifestyle of a devotee is unique and distinct. And he repeats, the devotee's lifestyle is unique and distinct. They follow the most difficult path. So, first thing he say is like the devotee, they follow the most difficult path. When we take the path of Bhakti under the Satguru, it is the most difficult path of all. It's interesting take on it, because we often say Bhakti is very simple. And it is true. Bhakti is very simple. Because the philosophy of Bhakti, what we need to understand of Bhakti, the practice of Bhakti is very simple. It's only to put the mind on Him with love and to serve Him, to surrender to Him, to Bhagavan. And Bhakti is all about that. All the forms of Bhakti, all the aspects of Sharanagati, they are all leading to only one thing, which is to think of God. And if we think of Him at all time, then the highest type of Bhakti is achieved. So the whole thing of bhakti is to purify the mind and to bring this constant consciousness of him, right? So it is very simple. If you follow a different path, if you go in tantra, if you go in the path of knowledge, if you go on the path of karma or whatever, it's very difficult. You need to be born in a good family. You need a lot of like qualification. It's very difficult. You need to learn crazy practices, crazy mantras. In Bhakti, nothing like that. You receive the mantra from the Guru and you practice it. We practice it every day. And the practice is very simple. But it is also the most difficult path. Because in Bhakti, and this doesn't come in the other path, is that in Bhakti, the identity should go fully. We can't keep any dust or trace of ourselves. In the other path, it's all about I realize myself, or I get this city, I get this thing, I get this power, or I realize who I am. Not in the sense of egoism, but it's all about the self. Getting in the self. But in Bhakti, we say Atma Nivedanam. The self, we can realize it by His grace. But then we give it to Him. That's the deepness of service when we say seva. When we say the self is an eternal servant of Bhagavan. Think how deep it is. It's like, yes, this self, we can know who we are. But even at that moment, we are still serving. We are still giving ourselves, the real self, to Him for eternity. And that's how Bhakti is the most intense path. Because all identity has to go. We can't keep anything of ourselves. We need to fully shine His light, like Guruji is saying now. Like a river that enters the ocean, loses the identity as a river, and takes the identity as an ocean. That's why it's the most difficult path. There's nothing of us can stay, right? And so he say, the devotee, they renounce greed, avarice, egotism, and desire. They do not talk too much. I will try not to go too long then. The path they take is sharper than a two-edged sword and finer than a hair. Does Guruji say that? He say that, no? The path they take is sharper than a two-edged sword. And so that's, in many ways, the paradox of Bhakti. Because for devotion, for Bhakti to be there, we need to be two, no? They need to be two persons. I can't have devotion, I can't have Bhakti for nothing. I can't have Bhakti for myself. Apart if I'm very, very, very egoistic, but normally nobody has that, Maybe Trump has that, I don't know. But this kind of person who love themselves so much, Maybe they have this type of Bhakti, this I don't know. But you can cut that in the recording, though. Yeah. So in Bhakti, they need to be two persons. It's always we surrender, we love Bhagavan. But Bhakti is also not a path of duality. And that's the thing. We should not think that Bhakti is a path where there is only duality, only dualism. Everything is two, we stay separate, we are not one. It's not true at all. Because here Guru Amar Dās is saying, and Guruji so many times he say, this path is so fine, is so subtle, is so narrow. There is no place for two persons. And that's the paradox of Bhakti. We need two persons to have Bhakti. But the path is too small for two persons. So the two need to become one. And that's where Guruji say, the river entering the ocean, the drop entering the ocean, all that. We still exist. We should be very careful, especially when we enter what the mystic says. It's not about Advaita. It has nothing to do with non-dualism the way Adi Shankar was explaining. In the sense of, you don't exist, there is only Brahman. It has nothing to do with that. Nothing. Because we exist eternally the Lord exists eternally, right? And Bhakti exists eternally. But how we are one. In this state of love that we call Tadatmya in the Siddhanta, in that state of love, there is only one person. Because the devotee take his identity. And that's why Guruji always repeat that. We should take the identity of him. We should understand I am not a separate person. I'm not somebody like I am there and God is there and God is here and you are here. No. We are part of him. And the only identity that should stay in Bhakti is part of him, a servant of him. And that's how this path is so narrow. By becoming one, by letting go of the identity, then we can have this path of Bhakti, in where there is two and one at the same time. And that's how Bhakti can express. Because with dualism only, Bhakti is not there. Guruji say, only when we see the oneness of things, Bhakti comes. Bhakti doesn't come by duality like that. So this is very important things. How in Bhakti there can be only one, only him. And we are part of him. We exist in him like that. Like the river exists in the ocean. But not as a river, as part of the ocean. When the river enters the ocean, it's not like the water dissipates. No, the water enters into the ocean and becomes part of it. The same way the devotee enters into Bhagavan and becomes part of him. The identity becomes part of him, like that. And so he continued to explain, he say, in the Vedas, the ultimate objective is the name, is the Nama, the name of the Lord. But they do not hear this. And they wander around like demons. So he's saying that many people, they read the Vedas, they study the Upanishad, they study the Puranas, but they don't understand that the essence of all things is the name of Bhagavan. And it is very easy to see that actually. And this is what many Vaishnava have explained in the last centuries. That the Vedas, they are very complex now. There is 2 parts in the Veda. There is 4 sections. You can say the Samhitas, the Brahmana, Aranyaka, Upanishad. And then the Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda. You study the Yajna, the sacrifice. Then you study the self. And all that is summarized in the Bhagavad Gita, right? The Bhagavad Gita is just a summary of the Vedas. How to apply the Vedas. And then we have the Bhagavatam. We saw all the painting coming from the Bhagavatam. And the Srimad Bhagavatam is very deep in itself because it comes as the conclusion of all scriptures. Vedavyasa, the one who composed all the Vedas, wrote them down and then composed the Puranas, Mahabharata also. What he did, you know the story. Narada Muni, one of the sage, came and said to him, why do you feel depressed? You have done so much. And he said, I feel like there is something missing. In all the Puranas, in the Mahabharata, in the Vedas, there is something missing. We are not fulfilled like that. And so Narada Muni told him, yes, because you have to write about the devotees and the Lord and how they interact. And he composed the Bhagavatam. And by that Bhagavatam, he became fulfilled. And so Vedavyasa stands for all of us. For so many lives, we go into this Vedic Dharma, and we go into so many paths. And only Bhakti really satisfies the self. And one of the verses in the Bhagavatam say exactly that in the very beginning. One, the self is only satisfied by Bhakti. There is no other way. And then, why I say all this, is because the end of the Bhagavatam. So we saw the Bhagavatam is the conclusion of all Vedas, right? But what is the conclusion of the Bhagavatam itself? And the last verse say, Nama Sankirtanayasya Salva Papa Pranashanam. Say by chanting the name of Vishnu, Shri Hari, all the karma is gone. So basically that's, and you see how Guru Amar Dās is saying exactly the same. Say the essence of all Vedas is to chant the name. And the devotees, by the grace of the Satguru, they understand that. But if they don't get that, they just go around. They just come back. Attain heaven, come back, attain heaven, come back, or go to hell and come back. Depends the life they live, of course. If they do bad things and they don't follow the Vedas, of course. But if they follow Vedas and all these things, then they attain heaven and then come back all the time. They wander around. But you say the devotees, they understand that's the name only. And by the name, which is the essence of the Vedas, then all is attained. And then he explains what happened to a devotee when he chants the name. So the same for us. So when we receive initiation by Guruji, and we receive the mantra, Shree Peetha Nilaya Parabrahmane Namaha, and he chant every day, until it goes very deep, until the name of the Satguru is revealed. Now he in Babaji Day, very interesting. He in Babaji Day, he explained that when he talked about the name of the Satguru, he don't mean Swami Vishwananda. He doesn't mean the name he gives us. He said the name of the Satguru is when the essence of the name is revealed to the self. And we will see what Guru Amar Dās says on that. He I have come to know the unstruck sound current and the world of the Guru's Shabad. I enjoy the sublime essence of the Lord's name. So here, Guru Amar Dās says that what he realized is that by chanting the name of the Guru, by chanting the name received by the Guru, this name went very, very, very deep inside of him. More and more and more and more subtle inside of him. Until it became this Anahata Shabd, which is the unstruck sound. We saw in the Atma Kriya, if you practice, you will see there's different sounds that awakes. And all those sounds, like the conch, it can be the bell, all those sounds, they are just modification of one vibration, which is the Omkar, which is the Om. And that Om is actually the essence of the name of Bhagavan. What you say, when that Om starts to vibrate in all things, we see God in everything, right? And that's the name of the Satguru. And it's not the Om the way I say Om now. And I think Rishi Vrishaparvaananda actually was giving a very nice analogy during one meeting. It was a very good one. We say Om, and we say the inner sound is also the Om. But it's not the same. It's not like Om, like I say now. In the same way as if I tell you, how does a bell sound? You will say gling, 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 something like that. Now, you will say that, no? Gling, gling, or whatever. But this gling, gling, it makes you think of the bell. That's the closest thing to a bell. But it has nothing to do with the sound of the bell, right? So in the same way, the Om, we can chant the Om, we can chant the name, but it has nothing to do, truly speaking, with what this name is in his essence. The essence of it is very different. And that's why Kabir says, what was Kabir chanting? He was chanting the name of Ram. He received from Ramananda. And Ram is very simple, Ra-ma, 2 syllables. But he say, the name I'm chanting is not in the alphabet. With the alphabet, you can't make it. He say in Sanskrit, there is 52 letters, but you can't make the name I'm chanting. The name I chant, nobody has ever chanted it. Why? Because he talked about that name. The name of Ram at that level. In the level of even deeper than the heart, at the level of the spiritual level. When the name reveals the essence, then what is the essence of the name? God is the same. That's why Goji say the name and God, they are the same. There is no difference. When we chant the mantras, we are connecting with that essence. And the more deep we go into that, the more it reveals itself. And then, if we go back to the seva, right? Because he was bringing the water every day. And so we all do seva. All of us, we are doing seva in our days. And we know also from from our own experiences, we know from the experiences of others, the testimony, that sometimes it's not easy. The path can be very difficult. And many people left the path. Many people left. And not only in Bhakti Marga, in everything there is a real Satguru. It's always like that. It's a very challenging path because the Satguru we saw in Guru Angad, he didn't praise Guru Amar Dās, you are so nice, your seva is so good. No, he completely went against all that the mind wants, all that the ego wants. And so what Kabir says about that, he says, Kabir, no one who is false can withstand the touchstone of the Lord. He alone can pass the test of the Lord's touchstone, who remain dead while yet alive. So he's saying that, and that's very, very deep. He said the only way to pass all challenges of life, basically. And again, test is not in a negative way. It's not like, he's testing me. No, just how life is. How the life is with the Guru. He wants us to grow. And he said the only way to go through that is to die while being alive. And how is it? It is by letting go of the ego. Goji said the ego has to die. The body is fine. The body is very good. The ego has to die. What we think of ourselves. We saw Myron talking about all the narrative we have, all the stories we have. I am this person, I am that person, I'm doing this or that. I want to attain this or that. Very clear in our mind. He said only when all that is dead, only then the path becomes very smooth. Because there is nothing to block the grace of the Guru. And that's very difficult, very easy to say. Very easy to say. Very difficult to do. But that's the path we take with Guruji. Also in Bhakti Marga, the same. With Paramahamsa Vishwananda, the same. We take this path in which, by practicing what he says, we let go of our own identity and we start to take his identity in the sense of part of him, part of his grace. Like we saw in so many leelas of Krishna, there's one leela which is very beautiful. Like one Mataji came to sell some fruits to Krishna, to the house. And so baby Krishna was super young at the time. He started to run and he saw the fruits, he was so happy like that. And she said, but do you have some money or whatever? And or maybe he wanted to take the fruits and he didn't. And she saw that he didn't have any money because he's like 4 or 5 years old. And so she was very sweet. She said, just take whatever you want, And so Krishna had to take the fruits. And then he went away. And he brought like some stones or something like from the floor to pay, like a kid. And then when the Mataji looked at her bag or what she was carrying, it was full of gold. It was full of the most expensive stones and all that. So in the same way, the more we give to the Guru, the more it transformed. If we say, I keep for myself, then it counts. And that's very difficult because we really need to let go of our own limitation. But the more we give into that, then he can change it. If this Mataji in the Bhagavatam say no to Krishna, didn't give any bongo, it would have never become gold. Right? So in the same way, this path of bhakti and the Guru Amar Dās is saying all the time that the more we let go, the more we shine his identity. And we saw when his own self was completely gone, he became the Guru because he was shining the same as the Guru. And so Kabir is saying the same. He says, the only way to pass all these tests are when we die while being alive, when we don't let this ego taking place. And so, how we do that? How do we do this? And Guruji, a few days ago, he gave the solution for that. He gave the process for that. He say to all of us, he say, don't go into your own petty ego. keep chanting Shree Vital Giridhari's name again and again and again and again. Until what? Until the name is all that remains inside of you. And that's how we remains dead while being alive. Because by this chanting, the ego is dying all the time. Because the ego, it's either we put the mind on the ego or on God. And the more we give power to Bhakti, the less the ego has place in our life. And so we die. The ego die. Like somebody who don't have food, he just go away. Step by step, he die. The same way the ego is gone like that. It's very difficult to do. But still, to always keep chanting. Even Goji, 2 days ago, he said we should just, not even today. Actually, it was today. How did he say that? I will come to that after. And so, yeah, we should chant until all that remains is the name, is him. And then Guru Amar Dās is saying, it's Guru Nanak who say that. He say by personally experiencing the personality of the Guru, one's own personality is uplifted and one's light merge into the light. So that's what we saw in the life of Guru Amar Dās, what we saw in all the great devotees there, all the saints. They have experienced the personality of the Guru. They have served the Guru. And so their own personality got transformed into the light of the Guru, into his grace. And yeah, that's what Guru Amar Dās went through. And then he says, bliss, so beautiful. He says, bliss. Everyone talks of bliss. We see in the Upanishad, it's very easy. You go in the Upanishad, one of them is called the Taittiriya Upanishad, and in that you have the Ananda Valley. It's a section that talks only about bliss. So we can read about bliss, we can do so many things, we can know about bliss, but here he says, bliss. Everyone talks of bliss. Bliss is known only through the Guru. Eternal bliss is known only through the Guru, when the beloved Lord grants his grace. So that's so nice also. He says, we all long to attain that bliss. But he said there is no way to get that bliss. It's impossible. In all the Vedas, it's impossible to get it until we have the Guru. Until we surrender to the Guru, there is no way. He is the only way to get that bliss. And so we see that in the path of the Sikh, in the path that we follow also. In Bhakti Marga, the same. Only through the Guru that bliss can come. And so the last part of his life, Guru Amar Dās, he didn't think, again the same story, he said he didn't think that his sons were able to become the Guru. They were not, he didn't saw this light in his own family. I mean, family, yes, but not in his sons. And so, therefore, he chose somebody else. The husband of his daughter, I think, it was Guru Ram Dās. Sadev will say in the next lecture, he will explain on that. If I said something wrong, maybe he can correct. But yeah, there was somebody called Ram Dās, and he chose that person to become the Guru, Guru Ram Dās, who was the father of Guru Arjan, the fifth one, to link all of that. And so, he chose to give him the light of Nanak and to be responsible for all the sick. And then Guru Amar Dās, he left his body at the age of 95 at Govindawara Sahib, the place he was living. And so, what we can take from his life, the main thing we can take, I mean, there's so many things to have, but the very simple process of Bhakti, of Satguru Bhakti, to serve the Satguru, because that's what we are doing here. In Bhakti Marga, that's what we are doing. Like Guruji called the Satguru Yoga. To do this practice of Bhakti towards the Guru also. Ishtadev and the Guru. And in Guru Amar Dās, we saw it was fully about this Satguru yoga, right? And he was deeply immersed in this service. And so at any age, we don't need to be young, we can be young, old, it doesn't matter at all. If we have this very clear conviction in the Guru, deep faith, like him, we can take his example and just go through life like that. Guru Angad was very young, Guru Amar Dās was old, it doesn't change anything. They both attain the same supreme state, let's say, same way. And so, to finish, we can have a tweet from Guruji on service. And he says something, he says, when people hear to be in service to God at all time, we get scared. Scared because we think of service as work, as something we have to do. We have to perform some action. We have to be a certain way. And all that sounds like a lot of work. We think, I will serve eternally. Nitya Seva, eternal service. It's a lot of job. It's a lot of things to do. But being in service to God is simply the reality of life. We are here because of His love. We stay for as long as is needed to grow towards Him, then we go back to Him. This is a cycle of life and death. As Bhakta of Sri Hari, there is no moment when we are not in service to Him. Then why the fear? Why the reluctance? It is because we don't understand the reality of our connection with Him. If we truly understood our connection with Him, we will never be bothered by the nature of service. So important that is. If we truly understand, that's where philosophy comes into place also. If we truly listen to the satsang of the Guru, we truly study scriptures, then we will understand that we are just a servant. And then we will never be bothered by the nature of service. We will, in fact, willingly, joyfully, earnestly offer ourselves at His feet to be of service to Him. Because He is no other than love itself. He is our eternal best friend. Why would we want to not be of service to your friend? You would run to be of use to them. And then he finished by saying, don't be scared of the word service. It is the offering of the heart completely. And through this, the mind, the body, and the spirit are purified to contain just the grace of the Guru. That grace which is our life itself. To connect to it is joy and not work. It is only joy. Service is only that bliss, ananda, that Guru Amar Dās was saying. And Guruji is saying it's only joy, not work. Work is a small part of the service. Service is love itself, and love is in motion through service. Trust in the Guru when he reminds everyone that there is only joy and bliss in love with Bhagavan. Everything else melts away. So again, come back to this state that all the saints have said. Bhakti is very simple, but the most difficult path. We receive the name from Him, we receive the practice from Him, we do seva to Him, and by that we die. We completely die while being alive. The identity that we have die, merge into His identity. And then we become that part of Him, the part of His grace. And then like Guru Ram Dās saying, bliss, bliss, there's only bliss all around. Jai Gurudev.